What I got in front of me today is a whole, fresh pork belly. This is the creme de la creme off a hog. When we're cooking whole hogs, this is what it's all about, the bacon. Now, this ain't your traditional bacon like you get at the supermarket, fried for breakfast, BLTs and whatnot. This is fresh pork belly, and I'm going to show you how I cook it on the smoker. Now, I'm not curing this. It's just going to get a good barbecue season. We're going to inject it up, put some good flavor on the inside. We're going to put it on the smoke for a while. We're going to wrap it up, break it all the way down. It's going to be the most succulent meat you've ever ate off a hog. You can see this is still a skin-on pork belly. I will be leaving the skin on for this cook because I want the skin to help hold it, keep some of that moisture inside it. Now, I am going to trim it up a little to where it's a little more manageable for my cooker. But the only reason why I'm doing that is I'm just squaring it up. Plus, it'll give me some portions to make a little pork belly braise. And that's a whole other recipe, but I'll share that with you on the blog sometime too. But what I like to do with the pork belly when I have it off the hog like this is just break off the ends. And it helps if you got a really good sharp knife. This one's still got a little bit of iciness to it. They were froze when I got them. I bought a case. They come 4 to a case. They average about 12 to 14 pounds a piece. You can see that looks more like the bacon you're accustomed to. Now, it hasn't been cured or treated. This is all fresh. And I'm going to flip it around, do the same thing to this end. I'll cut me off probably about a 2-pound piece of straight across. And that's going to make a good little roast portion for me to braise. Just kind of got it scored where I want it. And I'll go all the way through the skin. It's a little tough, but if you got a good sharp knife, it's not that bad. I'm also going to come back and take a little bit off this where it thins out some. Some of this is just fat and skin. So what I'll do is just kind of eyeball it. Go straight down. And that's really squaring my belly up. Now that I got my pork belly trimmed, I've got my smoker fired up outside. It's coming up to temp. And what I'm going to do now is season it. Now, this is an uncured, just a fresh pork belly. First thing I'm going to do, I still want the skin on because it's going to be a barrier while I'm cooking. But I want to oil up that skin, so I use just a vegetable cooking spray. And this just kind of crisps it up, keeps it moist, to keep it from burning, turning black on you. It'll get it just kind of a nice brown golden color. But I just spray it and get it real good in oil. You can use vegetable oil, canola oil, but vegetable spray is just as good. Next thing we're going to do, put just a thin coat of mustard on it to act as a binder for the rub. And I'm seasoning this pork belly just like I would a pork butt to go on the smoker, and it's pretty much going to cook the same way too. I'm just going to make a bark on it, put some smoke on it for a few hours. When it gets the right color, that's when I'm going to come back and I'm going to wrap it in foil and really tenderize it, break that fat down. Now I'm just trying to put flavors on it. Today we're going to use a little bit of peach wood and maybe just a block or two of cherry just to give it some unique fruit smoke. But I've got a light coat of mustard on. Now I'm going to come back with the barbecue rub. It's our rub that we use on everything. It's really good on pork, beef, chicken. And I just put a good light coat on. This is going to set the stage for the flavors that I'm wanting to get out of this pork belly. And after I get it, a good coat of rub on it, I'm going to come back and hit it with my injection. And today I'm using a injection. It's a combination of some Worcestershire, some soy, some finely ground seasonings, and some apple juice just to kind of bring it all together to give it a little sweetness. But that's the pork belly with the rub on it. Now when you inject, I don't want to go too deep. It's not real thick. I'm just going to go in, space them out about every 2 inches, and probably put about a cup of liquid in it. So, let me de-glove here so I'm not getting too nasty. Syringe working good. I just go in, pump it up a little, move a couple inches, kind of go with an angle. But I really want it to go into the belly. And you're going to get some squirters. Just going to happen. Key is just try to move it around and really get some in it. With a thin piece of belly, it's a little bit difficult. You might want to go in from the sides a little. Alright, I got my grill fired up right where I want it. You can see the nice little thin smoke coming up. Got just a few pieces of peach and just a piece or two of cherry on there. Just give it a nice fruit wood flavor. Now I'm just going to come with my belly right on the grate. Now this dude's going to smoke probably for about 4 or 5 hours. I'll check the internal, but I'm really looking for color. When I get the color where I want it on the outside, that's when I'll come back and wrap it up. I'm looking for that mahogany color, get a good bark forming. Then we're going to break all that fat down. This is going to be the most tender, succulent meat you've ever seen. So this is cooking pork belly right here, just going on. And we got a whole day process to go cooking it. I'll show you how. 4 hours I've had this pork belly on the cooker. I brought it inside. I'm getting ready to wrap it up. It's got the color I want. This is what I'm talking about, the bark starting to form. And I caught it just before it starting to turn dark. Everything's kind of caramelized on it, started building bark. And now it's all about tenderizing, breaking down the fat that's in this belly. What I like to do is go ahead and just give it another little extra layer of rub. Just another little seasoning for the braise, kind of what it's doing in this full. And then I'm going to pour just a little bit of moisture in here with it too. It's going to have a lot with the fat that renders, but I'm just going to give it a little apple juice just for a little sweetness. And it don't take much. I'm just going to put it around a little. And then we're just going to wrap it up. And I'm going to do 2 layers of foil just so I don't have any spillage or anything. And it's going to go back on the smoker for probably another 3 or 4 hours. I'll start checking it for tenderness after about 3 hours. But it takes a while for it to really break down. I've got it wrapped up real good and tight. Nothing's going to leak on me. We're going skin down, back on the smoker, about 235, 250 degrees, and let it roll till it gets tender. Okay, it's been probably about 3.5 hours in the full on the cooker, right around 250 degrees, and I was kind of just using a skewer and kind of probing through the foil to check for tenderness. And when I felt it just kind of sliding in, I knew it was time to come out. So I went ahead and thermopinned it, and the temperature is right around 198 degrees, and that's where I wanted this pork belly to go to, because I know it's going to break down. I know it's going to be the tenderness I want. What I'm doing now is I just unwrapped it from the foil, and I'm letting this heat off, stopping the cooking process. And I'm going to put it in a dry cooler with a towel around it for probably about an hour, just to let it rest, let it calm down. And then what I'll do, I'll take it, transfer it back to the grill, and put a glaze on it. And that's typically how we do a whole hog, the belly on a hog. We'll come back when the hog's done. After we unwrap it, we doctor it all up, then we put a glaze on it. So that's exactly what we're going to do with this belly. So it's looking good. It's got great color after the wrap, and we'll show you how we glaze it. Rest, I transferred the pork belly to a little cooling rack, and it just makes it easier to move around because it's so tender right now. Then I got it back on the grill, and I'm just glazing it with Killer Hogs, the barbecue sauce. And I'm using it because not only has it got great flavor, but it gives it a good color, as you can see. I'm going to get the lid back on, and this glaze needs to set for about 30-45 minutes to really make a good bark on it, and then the belly's going to be ready. I'll show you the finished product here in just a little bit. Here's the finished product. This pork belly turned out great. You can see I let it glaze for about 30 minutes back on the cooker, then I gave it a short rest. What I wanted to do now is pull it apart for you and kind of show you why we did this. And what I did, this was an uncured pork belly, just like it was on a whole hog we were smoking. And this is the creme de la creme of hog meat. And this is the absolute best part of a hog. And when you break into it, it's just pandemonium. I mean, you can see the meat that's in here. this is what I want. This is the bacon. And when I take this, when we're judging whole hog, the judges can't score us on it. But what we do is make a dessert. And we'll bring out a little plate of this, make a little rosette of it, set it on a plate, and bring that to a judge, and it'll just melt in their mouth. But that's why I cook this, to turn this into bacon. And it's actually kind of like pulled pork. The fat has just melted around it, made it moist and succulent. And it's some of the best meat that you'll ever eat. It makes really good sandwiches. I mean, you treat it just like you do pulled pork. I like the top part where we glazed it. It makes a little bark on it. But this is absolutely the best barbecue meat you will ever eat in your life. I promise you. Whole pork belly, uncured, cooked low and slow. And it just melts in your mouth. I mean, look at this goodness. That's what it's all about, folks. The bacon.